think about the world you are living in right now. The world around you, your home, starts to change so much, it becomes so unfamiliar to you. Everything is starting to fall apart. You question your identity, you begin to lose yourself. You're trying to figure out how to fix this broken world. Your broken home is frustrating and scary, I know. The stakes have never been this high, and society as we know it is on the brink of shattering. But no matter what it is that's trying to destroy you, it's up to you to fix it. Will you save the world or let it break apart? This is the story of Vivy Flourite Ice Song. What starts off as a simple tale following a character struggling to save the world from a Skynet apocalypse has this beauty and uniqueness to it. That goes for many stories. Despite how brutal a world might be, there's always something beautiful and something to be learned. Vivy is no different. We, the viewer, start this story at the beginning of the AI revolution. AI has become an essential part of life, and in this future, humanoid androids have specific jobs, but something goes horribly wrong. AI begins to turn on humans, killing them indiscriminately. You sit there so confused, you have no idea how it happened. All you know that humanity is gone, and the world as we know it vanished. To prevent this from happening, Dr. Matsumoto in his final moments sends his AI back in time 100 years. And now this is where the real story starts. Diva is the first actual AI android designed to work as a singer at a central theme park. Like most people, singing is not for everyone, and she's not great at it. Similar to SoundCloud rappers. She has managed to gain a single fan in the form of a young girl who gives Diva the new name, Vivy. Her singing career doesn't change much, but her story of who she is down to the circuits and wires most certainly does. Vivy's life changes immediately when the AI from 100 years in the future, named Matsumoto, comes back in time to request the help of the singer in preventing the robot apocalypse. What immediately captures my eyes isn't the hot robots in the show. It is the world design and general atmosphere, as well as some of the hot robots. The premise hooks me, yes, but we've seen this before, more specifically Ghost in the Shell in one of my favorite games of all time, Nier Automata. Although a part of very different genres, cyberpunk and post-apocalyptic industrial, these stylistically different stories share fascinating questions about the world. Both these stories pose several yet confusing questions. What is a reason to live? What does it mean to be alive? What are we living for? These questions are what the viewer is left with when reaching the climax of these stories. Vivy Flourite Ice Song poses these questions without a doubt. However, the series writers Tappei Nagatsuki and Eiji Umehara explore how humans function in a world of AI, and how AI works in a world filled with humans. So this story tackles three interconnecting parts: how humans work, how AI work, and how this new society with both AI and humans work, which is fascinating. So that left me with a big question. How could a 13-episode show explore all that and be so beautiful with a killer soundtrack? Keep in mind, the focus is not just on these questions. It simply serves as this background information to support this beautiful narrative. However, we slowly get our answers through each episode. For the most part, each focuses on preventing an event that would eventually lead to the end of the world, and as the main character, we don't want that. In one episode, for example, Vivy has to make sure that a politician does not die from an attack orchestrated by an anti-AI group called Toke. And if this person were to die, it ripples throughout time, which would eventually lead to the end of humanity. So a lot is at stake. Given this information, Vivy still manages to save this person in this beautifully animated scene, and by far, one of the coolest episodes of this show. Since she was able to save this man and get the job done, she saved humanity, right? No, that's not how that works. One change isn't enough to change the future. So this story takes place in a span of 100 years in which she also improves her singing skills, slowly gaining a fandom. 15 years later, after the first mission is complete, Matsumoto returns to Vivy with a new task and event to nudge in another direction. This time, an AI will crash a space hotel in a city. Hopefully, it's Cleveland. Furthermore, the last change they made didn't have the desired effects they wanted to change the timeline. You fix one thing and a dozen other problems arise to take its place, which makes this story so engaging, for you never know what will happen next. You simultaneously experience relief when they avert one disaster and a sense of foreboding for the consequences of their actions. Each key event in the timeline occurs some years apart, so we get a jump through time and see the evolution of this world influenced by AI. A few human characters also stick around, aging with each time skip. This structure works so well and doesn't feel jarring at all. You feel really a part of the story. The high-tech stages the AI use are often beautiful and create a futuristic atmosphere. The colors on Vivy's clothes throughout the show use such beautiful, vibrant colors that it feels like something so removed from the rest of humanity's perception. While in contrast, the other AI is simply going through the motions of their code. They're often less sharp and their movements aren't so detailed. Once you see moments of unique thinking, often their eyes will be drawn in extreme detail in a completely different style, dilating and reflecting the information they're absorbing. In more dramatic moments, you can see more of the AI in this realistic, sharp style that lets you know how jarring the situation is. Certain moments or even events are emphasized in such a manner to capture the eye of the viewer. Although it's a bit jarring, most of it is executed so well. Having a story organized in such a way requires somewhat decent characters. Yes, you can have great animation, great soundtrack, great voice actors, but if the characters fall flat, you have a pretty bad story. And this show has amazing characters.
了解です。Vivy。
The main characters and side characters are written so well and competently. I can really only talk about Vivy and Matsumoto because no other cast member has this much screen time. And that's not a problem, because these two characters and the relationship are probably the most exciting parts of this entire series. Bear with me for a second. Vivy is the quintessential android, single-minded, goal-oriented, socially inept, and inexperienced, as well as having a simple, rigid grasp of morality, just like a baby. Her motivations are hardwired into her being, giving her the charm of characters who stand up for what is right because it's all she knows. Although not the most complex character, Vivy's straight-laced persona works so well in contrast to her partner, Matsumoto, the annoying, shitty little cube. Sorry. Matsumoto is as clear-cut a foil as you can get to Vivy's basic philosophy. He's annoying, cynical, pessimistic, practical, and willing to sacrifice people to achieve his greater goal of preventing humanity's destruction. This character could quickly come across as an annoying piece of shit that could ruin the show, but he plays so well as a counterpart to Vivy that neither overwhelms the audience, which is a very hard thing to do. The format of the show pretty much follows Vivy and Matsumoto. They are constant in this universe. We explore this world through their eyes. No pun intended. They're going to new locations and exploring a new corner of this technologically advanced world. It allows for shorter stories to play out under the large umbrella of Vivy's narrative, with characters having entire arcs in only 1 or 2 episodes, which is done so well and never feels rushed. For example, the Space Hotel arc contains the tragic tale of 2 AI siblings, separated by their creators, and circumstances manages to tie just a bit more emotional resonance into an episode already packed with so much things going on. Nagatsuki's writing is nothing if not efficient, and his dedication to crafting painfully honest characters in fantastical settings always shines through in his work. So, once again, if you've not watched this, why are you still here? watch the show. And if you have, rewatch it. You'll cry again, like I did. Several times. The chemistry between this blank-faced android idol and this stuffed animal kept me watching more and more. The character interactions are significant. Yeah, it can be annoying, but does it really dilute what the power of the story has? It's really effective writing when your hero and villain are two people with opposed beliefs. It's dangerously compelling when they're forced to work together. And as long as both of them are present and at odds in how they save humanity, Vivy is worth all your time. Also, the MC is hella fine. God damn! Story of time travel can be written horribly and have no clear purpose for the narrative moving forward. But if the narrative seeks to change the future, one must have impeccable sense of cause and effect. Tappei Nagatsuki has had that in droves since the beginning of ReZero, but is equally apparent in how he writes Vivy and the concept of the Singularity Project. Events are set in stone, though not from the beginning of time at the behest of some time deity or some clock maker. The flow of time consists of intervals and events where individuals have the power to make decisions that will ripple throughout history, and that's fascinating. It's explored in ReZero, but only through Sabaru's eyes and actions. He is the only one aware of how his actions will affect the future. But in this story, it's very different. We have two people striving towards the same goal in radically different ways, inevitably producing two rapidly different results. Thus, Vivy and Matsumoto's other success and failures may result in a completely new future that neither can foresee. It's a leap of faith, and despite being robots with code and circuits, they face a very human obstacle. As Vivy races towards an uncertain future, there's this dilemma that gives birth to a question regarding her purpose. She was the very first autonomous AI created by humans with the sole motive of singing, and that was it. Although in her journey to save humanity, she was constantly seeking an answer to a question that humans also have. The question was, what does it mean to put your heart into it? Just think about it. Is it supposed to be a question that someone like a robot can ask? Yes or no? And that's really hard to ask, because I think she can. It can only be asked by her due to her being autonomous and the journey she goes through. It changes her entire perspective towards everything she was striving for. All she wanted was to enchant the audience with her songs, but was unable to. As a matter of fact, she did everything to make them like her singing, but to her eyes, she was unable to pour her heart into what she did. She had a basic understanding of what she needed to do and did it successfully, but eventually Vivy lost her purpose and eventually stopped singing. And that's heartbreaking because humans are like that too. We find our purpose, we do what we have to do, and then our energy, our ambitions just fizzle out like a dying flame. For Vivy, a heart was something that beats in your chest. She didn't have that. All she had was circuits. So how could she pour her heart into singing them? If one would have asked the same question to humans, most probably every single one of them would have given a different answer, because that's what we are. Because our experiences and memories shape up the answer to this very vague, annoying, confusing question, basically we give the question its own meaning and answer accordingly. There's no true way of helping one answer this question. She has to find it on her own, all by herself, using her experiences, whether it be happy or bad memories, giving us a new but also different answer to a very vague question. And let's not forget Matsumoto. I mean, he was the only one who said the truth. If you can't define anything because you can't have anything to compare it to, then just make your own definition. That says a lot, and answers pretty much everything that Vivy was in search of. It doesn't matter if she has a heart or not, because she does have beautiful memories and these interactions with so many characters. They are carved in her, and she will carry them forever, and it's for them she will sing. Because her heart lies in the memories she was able to cherish, the bittersweet and horrific ones alike. And I finished this show feeling happy but sad that it was over. It was a fantastic journey getting to know so many of these characters, but all good things come to an end, and the show couldn't have done it any better with its finale and the final song. Vivy Flourite's Ice Song, yes, that is a mouthful, is a treat to watch if you can stomach the heartache and brutality of this world. It can be challenging to manage when things go from tough but necessary to unbearably sad. However, it's a beautiful combination of storytelling, mystery, thriller, music, sci-fi, and even comedy at times. Thank you, Matsumoto. You're not an annoying cube after all. While leaving you stunned at certain revelations, it's not so convoluted that you can't follow. To think an anime could utilize both music and fighting so masterfully to tell a story is fantastic, and it is most certainly difficult to do in just 13 episodes. I'm glad a tale like this continues to be made, not just exploring what humans are, but how they work, constantly expanding into new territory and presenting the viewer with such mind-boggling questions. Even though we may not get a continuation, it leaves this long-lasting print in our minds, making the story unforgettable. And with that in mind, thank you for watching. Decaf is